Welcome back. Now, our next guest says our attitude and our behaviours towards money is what prevents us from making, having and keeping money.
I should listen here, actually. Gary Douglas is here to tell us how to make more money and the pitfalls to avoid. Gary, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came upon this philosophy through your own life?
Well, basically what it boiled down to is I've started over 3 times. I have, had a lot of money and no money. I had a lot of money, no money. It's like I spent one of the down times, I actually was living in a closet that wasn't much bigger than this sofa, and with my son. And I was paying $50 a week, and I was eating nothing but cornflakes and milk. And then I started over from there. So I've started over a number of times, and as a result, I began to look at what I did different than other people did. And as I worked with the tools of what I do and the access work that I do, what I noticed is people who had $10 million had exactly the same points of view about money as people who had $10. Now, how can that be? And what is it that changes so that we can have more? And I always go into question. For me, a question empowers. The universe will always give us an answer, and an answer stops everything, and we're done.
But you're talking about, in your book, Right Riches for You, people changing their attitude to money. Now, everybody's attitude to money surely is, I'd like more of it. Yeah. Is that too simplistic?
Well, it's not enough. It's like, yes, I'd like more of it. But, it's like in my life, when I was a kid, my mother used to tell everybody in front of me that I would never have money when I grew up because I always gave it to my friends or I always spent it on my friends. So I'd never have money. So for years, I didn't have money. And then I went, wait a minute, that isn't my point of view. Why can't I have money? And I began to realize that I had bought my mother's point of view. Then I began to look at, well, so who else's point of view about money have I bought? And I began to look around and went, you know what? I don't have to have everybody else's point of view. I could maybe create my own. What a strange concept. And as I began to do that, I began to realize that that's the way I could create wealth. I could create anything in my life just by being willing to ask a question and look at something different.
I suppose you can change your attitude towards money, but you still have to have something to back it up, like brains or a good idea or something to generate money. I mean, simply an attitude change. I mean, okay, I can be really positive and think, okay, now I'm going to make loads of money. But I mean, there has to be the goods behind it.
Nope.
No, okay.
No.
You're not having that at all.
Say,
this is very interesting.
Let's say someone out there watching this morning, a lot of unemployed people in this country at the moment, no jobs, and they're watching. What would you say to them? They don't have any money, also they want it.
First thing they got to do is start asking a question. First question I would ask is, how does it get any better than this? When you ask, how does it get any better than this, all of a sudden things change. Now, it's like I had a lady who was doing my class in New York City. She walked out of the class, she found a dime. She goes, wow, how's it get any better than this? She's walking to the subway, she finds a $10 bill. She goes, ooh, how's it get any better than this? Waves down a taxi. She's let off in front of her apartment building, and as she's stepping out of the taxi, she sees something shiny down in the gutter, and she pulls out a diamond bracelet. And then she goes, oh, it can't get any better than this. Got to keep asking the question. If you keep asking the question, more and more possibility shows up.
But in practical terms, I mean, we can't all go around, or maybe we can. We should all go around looking at the ground, looking for diamond bracelets. But what can somebody do who is, as Sybil said, in the situation where they don't have any money, they're struggling? Okay, they ask themselves the question, how does it get better than this? What happens then?
Well, you start asking the question, and all of a sudden something opens up. See, like when you get to that defeated point of view, I've been there myself, so I know this one really well. You get to that place where, oh my God, my life's, is disaster, nothing works, everything's terrible. It's like all that can show up is what matches your point of view. It's like everything's terrible, nothing works. When you start asking the question, okay, how's it get any better than this? It's like all of a sudden something comes out of left field that you didn't expect, because you're starting to look outside of yourself instead of looking at the wrongness of you. 90% of the people that when they have these, downturns and these financial disasters, they get into the place of thinking there's something wrong with them. I must be a terrible person. Something's wrong with me. I did something wrong. I did something bad. So they keep trying to analyze what they did wrong or bad instead of going, okay, that was yesterday. What am I going to create today? You got to create from today, not from yesterday.
But how can you open yourself up to that and make yourself positively think like that?
Well, it's not positive. It's not about positive. one of the things we have a mantra in Access, it's all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've used it myself. And I've asked the question, how's it get any better than this? And I was renting an apartment where the lady said I had broken her television set. And I kept going, well, this can't be true. It's like I haven't even been here. How did I break the television set? So, I kept asking, how's it get any better than this? And I went in and I turned on the television and I started playing with the channel changer and it went to menu. And all of a sudden said, no cable. And I went, there's no cable. I didn't break your television set. The cable's not on. She said, oh, no, we called them this morning. Now, I know in New York City, it takes 8 days to get the cable people to answer your friggin' telephone call, let alone come out and check it out. I said, well, if you can get anybody, any television repairman, to write out a thing that says that I must have broken it and that the cable was in action, then I will pay for it.
You said, Sybil, there, it's not about positive thinking. It sounds very like the whole positive mental attitude philosophy. No. I know that's another
that's
branch
what I was thinking. Opening yourself up
but
to...
is that the better word?
No.
Being open, being receptive.
Well, it's being receptive, yes. Because money is never really the problem. We are. Okay? It's like it's our point of view that keeps us from receiving. And the other thing you can do is ask this question: what can I be today that would allow me to receive differently than I ever have before? Because it's what we have to be willing to be. It's like my youngest daughter, or my oldest daughter, called me at one point. She says, okay, I'm not having any money, Dad. What's wrong? I said, well, what are you doing? She says, I'm saying all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory 30 times a day. I said, darling, it's a workaday world. You have to go do something. I said, if you're a prostitute, you have to wear a short skirt and stand on the corner, or put at least a red light above your door in order for something to occur. Are you advertising? No. So I said, well, put an advertisement in. So she put the tiniest little advertisement I've ever seen in my life in for $6.79, and she got 3 people from it. You got to do something to start creating.
Just quickly, Gary, one of your beliefs is that you should carry money around with you. I believe that's something you physically have today.
Yeah.
Could you show us that?
You were saying carry like a couple of $100 euro
carry
around.
a few dollars, a few thousand, whatever you think a rich person would carry with you at all times. So I carry it in gold coins. I like gold coins.
And how much is that worth? How much is that worth?
It's about $3,000 right here.
Okay, so you just carry that around the whole time?
I carry that with me at all times.
Okay.
Now, people say, well,
security here in TV3 today, I think.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's been fascinating talking to you.
I wouldn't have €30 to carry around me most of the time.
Well, that's because you haven't started putting that 10% away that starts to create the money you'd like to have.
There's lots of things that people can read about in your book, Right Riches for You, and I know it's the Access Communication group.
Access Consciousness.
Access Consciousness, that people can log on and find out some more about. Yes. Gary, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, after the break, we meet the Irish bog snorkeling champion. Don't go away.